Hey everyone, how are you? Hello everyone on the Facebook and YouTube who are watching me live over here on the Limitless Show. Most welcome to the show, to the 13th episode actually. And this is not a show which I keep reiterating week after week after week, that it's a part of a movement which I have started to help you unleash your limitless potential so that you can be the person you are supposed to be, by helping you burst the myths, the limiting belief systems that have stopped you till now from your own greatness, by getting into the minds of the people who have already broken those barriers. So, my guest for today is Yogini Arora. She is the founder and CEO of Yovana Healthy Living. And she's also an engineer by education, but an artist in her free time. And she had some childhood issues related to obesity and self image. She has broken all of those through by using hypnotherapy, lifestyle changes, yoga, meditation, etc. And today she preaches what she follows. And she also believes in power of mind, plant-based diet, and power of meditation to achieve success on mind, body, and soul level. She's also a past life regression therapist and has helped hundreds of people decode their past life connections to solve current life issues. So please help me welcome Yogini Arora. Hey Yogini, most welcome to the
Hi,
show.
everyone.
Great to see you here.
Yeah, I'm excited too.
Yes, all excited. So why don't we start with your story, Yogini, so that the audience gets to know more about you.
My story is I have experienced everything in life. Name it, I've experienced. One thing which was not, the one thing that probably Anshu doesn't know is I have a muscle problem. I have fibromyalgia, and I suffer from that also, and I've overcome that also. So I will start my story since I was a kid. So I was always a very happy kid. Okay, for me, happiness is the most important thing. Have fun, and that's what life is about. And as I
Wonderful.
grew older, I started having obesity issues. I was a good eater. Yeah, you know that khate pite garane ke, we are like we enjoy life. Okay, it's like you enjoy
Absolutely,
life.
absolutely.
And we Indians are like that. And that was a time when fast food just came in. The restaurants were just opening up. So you used to have this, at home we had that khichdi chawal kind of food, and then you had this fast food. So obviously we all were supposed to enjoy it. The restaurants were popping up, and. So I love food. I still love food. It's difficult. And I started eating, and my family also enjoyed. And I became obese. Okay, and that was when I was in my third grade, but it
Okay.
didn't matter to me. I was like a free soul, free spirit, and my family was very okay with it. I mean, nobody ever said you're fat, nobody ever said anything about being fat. And in general, my whole family is on the healthier side. So we always like, okay, you're the healthier child, and my sister is skinny. So my sister is like super skinny. Okay, like we are like Lauren and Hardy, literally. That's how we were.
I can imagine.
So even when we made those greeting cards for our parents, and in the end we had to draw, so we would stick the Lauren and Hardika stickers and write our names across it. So it was that
Hmm.
funny. So, and she was the skinny one. But now when I started growing old, when I get to sixth grade or something, then suddenly everybody started seeing, oh, she's not lost this baby fat. Okay, that's what
Okay.
it's called. And
Hmm.
then it came to me that, hey, you know what? You can't eat two ice creams. You need to eat one ice cream. Hey, you know what? You can't
Hmm.
eat three sandwiches. You need to eat one sandwich. And
Right.
opposed to it, my sister could munch on four ice creams at a time, but I was the one who was always restricted. And it
Yes.
really impacted, as a child who was so young, I couldn't understand what's happening. Why should I not eat food? Yeah, I mean, I understand, but it's not a big deal for me right now. And it was more
Hmm.
like, you could see that pressure coming from outside. It was never from
Hmm.
inside. Like, I don't think
Hmm.
my parents would ever mind if I was obese all my life.
Hmm.
And that, in fact, triggered a lot of more emotional eating. It's like you control a lot, and then when you get it, you don't have control, kind of. and
Right.
kind of went on and never really lost weight, and I hit the rock bottom when I was in my 10th grade and I became 80 kgs. Bang.
Okay.
It was like
Mm.
that was like a shock to me. That's when I really woke up. Oh God, what is this? Okay.
Mm.
The point is that why did I get this shock was not weight. Okay, we were going through hormonal changes, and I
Mhm.
realized that this society accepts girls who are skinny. So I
Right.
had this gang of 6 girls. I was the only one who was fat. So we had
Mm.
these guys. Obviously, I mean, there's nothing to hide about it. We had crushes, and they crushes, and guys approaching you, and nobody
Mm.
approached me. So
Right.
that was the shocker for me. Oh my God, what happened and why? And even after that, I found myself so beautiful. I'm like, I am the most gorgeous person in the world. I really felt. But it was like a hammer hitting you over and over again. First is rejection
Mm.
for, then came that you are not allowed to participate in a lot of school events because clothes don't fit you, obviously, and you're too
Mm.
fat. So when you have to pair up with a guy, it will look odd. Then comes the
Mm.
sports day, and you're like, oh, we will not have her in our team. She can't even run. So it's like the
Right.
hammer hitting you at every single point. And
Right.
as a 14-year-old or a 12 or 13-year-old, also for me, it's like, what is going on in this world? I've never seen a world like this. And then
Mm.
that was a rage in the 90s when all these old skinny heroines all came out, and then we started seeing these magazines. The magazines became popular in the 90s, and started seeing magazines and all those sexy photos and hot photos, and I'm like, okay, this is the image that the world wants, and what am I
Mm.
doing, kind of, so
Mm.
then I went on, and in my 11th and 12th grade, I was 80 in my 10th, so I was like, really, I actually stopped eating food. you know I used to have only one samosa. I love food, okay, but I eat what I want, but I eat it like, so if I have one samosa pav, I will skip my meal. So if I had to have
Okay.
chocolate, that time pork had just come out. Pork was a new big fad, kind of. So if I have to eat one chocolate, I will eat that small chocolate and skip my meals. Of course, I
Mm.
lost all the weight. I became all fit and fine, and then I started getting. Then I went to engineering, and I was
Okay.
very fit by then. I'm really tall. Okay, so I am 5'7" almost. So for a tall girl and a proper body image, I would not say I was never skinny. I'm never skinny, but I was like the perfect one. And I suddenly got it all the boys' attention. Now, when I
Mm.
have seen that boys give you attention, don't give you attention when you're fat, and suddenly what happened? The whole world changes, and now you get all the attention in the world. So, the
Right.
mind processes this data. I mean, we don't realize it, but the mind processes it so fast. And that
Mm.
led to a belief system in my mind so strong that if
Mm.
I gain weight, I am rejected by the society. That
Right.
rejected word is a
Right.
very, very strong word,
It's a very
doesn't come
strong word.
easy. And I had terrible rejection issues, okay,
Right.
to a great extent that I could beg a person if I feel rejected. I have to
Right.
feel, I have to be wanted, I have to
Yes.
have that security. So can you imagine what happened? It was like drastic, and I'm like, I never even imagined that word rejection, and I could so
Right.
feel it. And at that moment, actually, I didn't feel, because I was behaving odd. I was craving attention, and we had boyfriends or whatever. So we went beyond limits. Even for a friend, I would go beyond my limits to please them. I didn't know how to
Right.
say no, because the moment I said no, I felt I would reject it. So from that
Mm.
body image issue, it came to the
Mm.
extent that I felt I didn't want anyone to reject me on any level, and I started pleasing people more and more. I
Right.
never said
Right.
no. If someone
Mm.
says this, okay, let's do this. If someone says this, for me, it was very, very important.
Right.
And then I met the love of my life, and I got married. So everything was perfect, because Abhi, for us, for me at least, when I, as an upbringing, our goal in life was to get married. Okay, you are an educated girl, you start working, and you have
Absolutely.
to get married. I think that's a norm.
True.
Now things are
True.
changing, and I'm glad it's changing. So God and everything was fine. And then it was fun, okay? Because if both of us gained weight, it never felt like rejection, okay?
Right.
So it was fine and okay. But still, I was always, so my confidence level was very much dependent on my body image. So if I am at my ideal weight, fitting into my clothes, for me, that's a confidence. And the moment I don't fit into my clothes, I have to go out and suddenly like something's not fitting. Oh my God, now what? I'll panic.
Yeah.
Okay, it was,
Right. Right.
and you don't realize it. The point is that we don't realize it's an issue till it becomes a very, very big issue.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
and it was crazy. And then I had my first daughter, and I gained a lot of weight. This time I was 86 kgs. Okay, 10th was 80. This time I was 86, and I'm like, oh my God. So during the pregnancy, didn't feel too bad. And then everybody like 6 months lagta hai to lose weight. And I had friends who were like really skinny and lost weight in 6 months. But this weight was not going. I was going slowly, slowly, but it was so slow that it was like hardly seen. That's
Okay.
when I again started getting these bouts. And I felt, I mean, I had, it's like probably I'm talking this out on a social media for first time in my life, but I literally felt that my husband is going to leave me because I am fat. I
Right.
had such a big fear in my life that he will reject me. What if he likes someone else? What if he stops loving me? I
Right.
had crazy amount of fears.
Yeah.
I was full of fears. And at that time, I went through a loss. I lost my mom during my pregnancy. I was 8 months pregnant when I lost my mom. So it was a double whammy. I
Right.
was depressed with that. Then my health, then my child, postpartum depression.
Hmm.
It was so much to handle, but I didn't know why I was there. I didn't know
Hmm.
what I was doing. I was lost most of the time. I didn't even realize I was in depression because of that. So, moment one thing stabilizes, the other was hitting harder. Body image became such a big thing. Rejection, already a fear of loss, and I just lost
Right.
someone. So, there was already a fear. Oh my God, what if I lose my husband? What if I lose
Yes.
something else? What will happen? It was the most black phase of my life. But today, sitting here, I give gratitude to that phase of my life, that today, what I am, what I do, what I
Hmm.
preach is
Hmm.
because something hit me so hard that I had no way out except going up. So it's like when you hit the rock bottom, the only way out is to go up. And
Up.
that's what
Absolutely.
happened. And
Hmm.
I will tell this to most people who are watching here. We have patterns in life and we keep doing the same patterns, going into the same phases over and over again. And we ask question, why again, yeah, or why again? And I asked that question at that moment. And let me tell you, the patterns will keep repeating unless you attempt to break them.
Break them.
There is a
True.
learning in every pattern that you have. The moment we learn our lesson from that pattern, the pattern will vanish because there is nothing else left in the pattern. It was
Yes.
a message. It's like a message from God, from the universe, that you need to learn this. And when we
Hmm.
learn it, suddenly it just vanishes. It's like someone just had a
Yes.
magic wand and it vanishes.
Yes.
So that's when I had, I didn't go to the antidepressant pills, and I'm thankful for whoever saved me from that. And I came to India, and my sister is like, we never believed in alternative healing, but if you don't want to go on pills, let's try it out. I said, okay, no harm there. If something is not hurting you inside your body, let's try it out.
Yep.
I went to an energy healer. She's much younger than me. She's my schoolmate, but she's younger than me. And for a moment, I didn't feel why she's younger and not. She was young. She was like probably only 19 or 20 at that time.
Oh,
And
okay.
she is a hypnotherapist. She is a
Mm-hmm.
pranic healer. Reiki. She pretty much does everything. And I
Hmm.
don't know what she did with me. And she just changed my mindset in such a beautiful way, that in practically 5 sessions, I was out of a depression, which I didn't even know existed till I finished the therapy. I really didn't know the depth of it. I knew something was wrong, that I am negative, but I didn't know the
Hmm.
depth of it till I came out. In 5 sessions, I literally got out of a 5 year depression. Sorry, 2 years depression. 5 sessions and 2 year depression. Obviously, the therapy one went on a little longer because you need to come out completely. But I was a changed person. And my husband didn't know about I was doing this because he didn't believe in it. So I was like, I'm also trying. I don't believe in it. Why, start this? Just not create a negative there.
Right.
And I was surprised that after a week, he told me, you are changed, you look different, you talk different, you talk like you. And I was like, oh, bad. That's what was a problem in my life. Because he said
Nice.
you were so insecure, you were so fearful that even though I explained you 1,000 times, you were not ready to listen or absorb. I was tired explaining. That's when he told his agony, that it's not only the person who is in depression is going through pain, the people around are equally suffering. In
Yes.
fact, they're suffering
So
more than
true.
us because
Yes.
we are stuck in a cocoon, we are in our own heads, we have something to look onto. But for them, we are the world, and for them, we are changed. So it's
Yes.
funny that people pity themselves. I say pity the person around you. That person is putting more efforts than you. You are stuck in your head, you are making stories in your head. And
Yes.
that's when I decided, okay, enough is enough. I was in pharma industry, and yeah, that's the irony of the story, that I was in pharma industry and I used to in fact do statistical analysis on every drug that comes in the market. Okay, so I used to do FDA submissions, and that's when I realized that I didn't go on antidepressant being in the same industry. Why am I promoting it? It's just like
Yeah.
stuck to me. And I was in US, and I decided, and then we were supposed to move to India because mom was not there and all. And I decided that I'm going to do something more than this. So I came back to India, and first I learned healing. So I learned angel therapy, I learned quantum therapy, I learned different things. And then I was I wanted to learn hypnotherapy because that really really had helped me. And
Hmm.
that's when I decided, and I was like, okay. So I went ahead and did a 1.5 year diploma in hypnotherapy from Hypnosis Motivation Institute, California. And from then, I am on a mission trying to tell people it's all here. If you can clear this, if you can rewire this, you are truly, truly limitless. It's not about social media, it's not about the people you see who are achievers, only they are achievers. Every single person can be achievers.
Everyone.
We are
Yes.
just stopping ourselves from beliefs. It is only
Yes.
our thoughts that are stopping us from where we want to be. And we don't create enough. We don't create enough of our visualizations and future. We don't plan. We just, most of us just exist. We do not live. There's a difference. Your
Yes.
existing is waking up in the morning and just following the trend versus just
Absolutely.
living. So
Actually.
that was an amazing story, but life does not always stay there. Okay, it keeps hitting you for you to learn more lessons. So once you cross one
Yes.
question, you will get another one. And that's when
Yes.
my dad was detected with some lung issues. He has a very high RA, and his
Okay.
RA ran to about 400 or something. And
Mm-hmm.
that's when we got it, and we went to a naturopath again, as we did not believe in. We had lost my mom to cancer, and we know how the drugs worked on her, and we still believe that it would have been better to not do anything. And
Okay.
from there, we came with the belief that, okay, we are not going to give him steroids. The doctor said only steroids is the option, and he has probably only 2 years or whatever. The span will become less if you don't give. That's a typical doctor talk. That, you are
Right.
reducing lifespan and we are not responsible. But he was very strong, and I
Hmm.
thank him for being so strong and gratitude. And we went to a naturopath, and he said, stop wheat, stop dairy, stop pulses. And I'm like looking at him, खाना क्या खाना है? What are we supposed to
I know.
वो जो दाल नहीं खाना, रोटी नहीं खाना, राइस भी नहीं खाना, ब्राउन राइस खा सकते हो लेकिन वो भी लिमिट में खाना. I was like, what are we supposed to eat? So they did give us a diet, and initially it felt like a shock. How can you even eat that? We have been eating whole wheat chapatis all our life, and where
I
is
know.
this coming from?
I know.
And that's where the second journey began. And me and my sister started working on this plant-based diet and
Hmm.
substitution food. So We never had my dad think I can't eat this. We made sure he
Okay.
eats everything he likes, but in a substituted way. Okay,
Hmm.
we needed him to believe, because what happens when you put people on a diet and say you can't eat this is not for you, doctor has said no. That's what they did with me, right? It's like, you can't eat this, you can't eat that, you can't that
I
because you're
know.
fat.
I know.
It's the same
Correct.
story all over. And this time
Right.
we had decided. So we went, we learned how to make jawar rotis. We practically learned making desserts without sugar, without gluten. And we still do that. We still experiment. That's absolutely fine. And we still keep experimenting. And that really went to the second journey of my life, where I found a newfound passion for food. And for me, it was even a bonus, because I've always been restricting myself to eat. I've always been like, okay, if I eat, I will become fat. I'll become fat. I'll
Right.
become fat. Right?
Hmm.
So that's what happened. Then the third phase came. I was having my second baby, and this time I had some issues in pregnancy. So I was supposed to eat a lot of protein, and I couldn't eat egg. So my naturopath told me rasgulla khao. Okay. And I started eating a lot of rasgullas. But for me, the baby was the most important. And this time, Anshu, I went to 96 kgs. After that, I didn't step up. I didn't go on the weighing scale at all. And that was the time when I was like really scared inside. But by this time, I had come out and started working on my mind. I worked on my mind, and I had done my hypnotherapy course. And that's when I decided to use the power of my mind to help me overcome this. And that's when I actually went ahead and practiced mindfulness with myself. I did affirmations, and I used my plant-based diet, and I actually lost all that weight, that 27 kgs of my weight, excess weight, in 7 months flat. And after that, I kept losing, and I got to a level which I had never ever been in my entire life. And that was the most amazing achievement in my life. And that's when I realized the power of the mind. I really lost all that weight simply by training my mind and using this healthy diet. I went from 96 to 67 in seven
Wow.
months and
Beautiful.
I lost the remaining 7 kgs in about another 5 months. I was 60 kgs, which is the lowest I have been in my entire life. If I had 10th grade, if I was 80, so 60 was like a amazing thing. And that's
Right.
when I realized, mind is amazing. For just by doing affirmations, just by training my mind, if I can achieve this, then there is no limit to what anyone can achieve.
Anyone
So
can
that
achieve.
gave me another mission. So I started working with women, helping them lose weight. So every time life gives you something, you need to learn something. And then it becomes a mission, it becomes a passion, and you start passing it on to others. And that's how my journey of life has been. It's just amazing. I mean, I don't regret anything that I went through. It feels dark at times, like, oh God, what was that, what was I doing? But at the end of it, gratitude to everything that happened. Because of that, I am here talking to you on your Limitless show today.
Yes, yes, absolutely, absolutely. Fantastic, very powerful story. And just want to actually tell the audience that, sorry, guys, I do not have a current at my place. So I know it's looking a little weird on my place. But yeah, I'm just managing with a lamp and something. I do not have any real backup. But yeah, we are continuing with the conversation. Thank you so much, Yogini, for sharing your story. So, what I want to ask you now is, since you are fat, there is also something called body shaming that happens with women, especially who are fat. So did that also ever happen with you, apart from your parents telling you not to eat and guys not proposing you? Was there also any kind of body shaming that happened with you?
So I would say it never happened directly, because I was like a tomboy. I was like a
Mm-hmm.
person who could literally, eat you up if you say something about me. I could literally come
Okay.
and punch you in the face. But I have literally
Right.
heard, as I said, the sports day, or like, यार ये तो बहुत मोटी है, ये कैसे भागेगी, मोटी है,
Hmm.
उसको नहीं लेते यार. So it was not
Hmm.
a direct shamming,
Not
but
directly to you, but
nobody
behind
dared to
you.
talk. Yeah, nobody dared to ever talk in front of me. I mean, I am proud about, and I would thank my parents for that, that they had made me such a confident person that
Hmm.
nobody had the guts to talk in front of me. But on the
That's
back end,
wonderful.
it's like doing it more. See, someone coming and telling you you're fat, you can answer back. But doing it
Right.
subtly by rejecting you on sports day, rejecting you for school functions, rejecting you for other things, that's more hurtful because mind is not processing what happened. Why am
Right.
I'm a good dancer. Why did you reject me for the dance? So that
Hmm.
is more hurtful. So say it straight on the face. I will answer you back. Hey, I am fat. That's my problem and my body, not none of your
Right.
problem.
Right.
Subtly rejecting people on the back end is like ghosting. Like, oh, I
Right.
don't know. Oh, I forgot you even existed. So yes,
Right.
body shaming, but on a very, very subtle and
Subtle level. Very
yeah, it
subtle
was like
level.
crazy. It was more hurtful because I never knew
Yeah.
what is happening. Piche log, why are they behaving so weird with me?
Right.
So yeah, but on this platform, I would love to thank the 5 friends that I had, and they never made me feel any of this. I mean, those friends, I'm really thankful to each one of them here that they stood by me. And every time there was a back end story that came, they would come in, they would pacify me and say, "Hey, you know what? Ignore them. They are the stupid young children, young guys who do not even know anything about life." So I think
Beautiful. Beautiful.
it's a
Yeah.
community that lifts you up, and you need to
Yes.
have that.
Always believe in that. Yes. Yes. I always tell, yeah, all my mentees that, have that kind of a community who lifts you up. That's
Yeah.
so important. So important. Wonderful. So now most of us go through these kind of issues in childhood. It might be different for different people. If for you it was
And so
obesity.
I will add one thing, okay? It's the
Yeah.
funniest story that when I was obese in my childhood, they called me Moti. When I
Mm.
delivered a baby and I became fat, they called me, "Arey, ye to ek bacche ki maa hai, so it's okay." Such a hypocrite
Mm.
society. This is, why such a big difference, yeah? So it's like such
Mm.
a thing that is put into our head. Once you get married, it's okay to get fat. Once you have a baby, it's okay to get
Yeah.
fat. And
Exactly.
just,
Exactly.
that is another thing that we really face.
जब
Go
तक
ahead,
शादी
sorry.
नहीं होती है till the time you're not married actually you are supposed to be that lean thin and attractive version of yourself. Once you're
Yeah,
married people feel it's okay. I mean her work is done. Whoever she
we
had
are
to
so
attract, yeah.
objectified. We are so
Yeah, it's
objectified.
objectification. Yes, it's an
Yeah,
objectification of women. That's so true, so true. So many of such myths exist in the society, and still they exist. Even in the technology era, they still exist, and we are still facing those same issues. So,
and now it's got
we
worse
all go
now.
through.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Sorry,
got worse with social media and the
it
filters that can
has,
make you
it
thin
has.
and fat and everything. So it's getting
Yes,
worse because we are seeing so much more than what we are. And that is
yes,
putting us down. We somewhere start degrading ourselves.
yeah, true. So basically, each one of us, puts across the fight, and that's how it will change. Even if then one day it becomes a movement. So, so now, I have come across all the people who had some kind of childhood issues. Maybe comparison with siblings because they are not better in studies. The siblings are better, or the other kids are better, and they are supposed to be like the first three ranks in the class. So they might be bullying issues. So that leaves a mark, right? That leaves that this permanent scar on the subconscious mind where you think that I'm not enough. I am inferior to the others. I'm really not enough. I cannot stand up for myself. So, how do we basically now deal with that from that level only? When in the childhood itself, as parents, from parents' point of view, what would you like to tell the parents how they should be dealing with these kind of issues with their children? Because parents also do this, the schools do this, colleges do this, society does this. How do we tackle it?
I think firstly, forget about comparison with anyone else. Where we start the problem, we start comparing our children with ourselves. You look like your dad, you talk like your mom, you walk like your father, you do this like your father, you do this like my.
We do that.
We are
We do that. Yeah.
actually started telling them that you need to replicate them, it is the subconscious
Yes.
mind. The child
Right.
does not have logic, child does not have decision making capabilities, the child does not have any kind of a filter to what we are feeding in. So,
Mm.
in a subconscious level, the child starts taking on more and more characteristics of the parent. Okay,
Mm.
and that is the first thing we need to stop. Let us just start telling the children, hey, you are unique, everyone else is unique, your fingerprint is
Mm.
unique, and so are you. We need
Yes.
to build them. Why the comparison is because there is something called we want everything to be perfect. Okay, we want everything to be perfect. So if a child is born, they want the eyes of the father because it's good, and the talk of the mother and the walk of the father. We just want to create something that's so perfect. That
Yes.
is the
That's
struggle.
such an ignorance we
Such an
have.
ignorance.
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
that is where the problem is, because why will you compare the two siblings also? Because one
Yes.
seems more perfect to us, the other seems imperfect. Now, what is the definition of perfect? Tomorrow,
Mm.
if both the children grow up, that perfect does not do well in life and the younger one does good in life, we are going to change the statement. So we
Yeah.
need to teach our children that there is no perfect. Either we all are perfect or there is no perfect.
No one who's perfect. Yeah.
Either
True.
nobody, so either you believe that everybody is perfect or you believe
Mm.
that nobody is perfect. Each one of you is unique. And instead of comparing them, the best thing you can do is always tell them what is good about them. See, one child could be caring, one child could be compassionate, one child could be good at studies, other child could be good at sports. So it's very important for as a parent to tell them what's good about them. When we
Right.
work with clients, I'm sure it's interesting that when I ask them a question that, can you tell me three good qualities about you? Trust me, not more than one. People are not even able to tell one quality, they have to think. But if I
Mm.
ask them, tell me three bad qualities about you. My mom thinks I am very angry. My mom thinks I'm not focused. My mom thinks this. So, can you
Mm.
believe that we do not even tell them they are good qualities? We don't appreciate them. The moment you
Right.
don't appreciate them, that means you're expecting so much more. There's so much pressure.
So
So
much of
all the
pressure.
parents,
Absolutely.
so absolutely. So all the parents out there, don't seek perfect. My story, I came out from a normal SSC school and became an engineer, traveled to US, come back. I'm a mind coach here, sitting here. Doesn't matter. Life will show you the path. What we need to raise today is good human beings.
Good
A
human beings.
child
I totally agree.
who Absolutely. A child who is confident about themselves. The moment
Yes.
you start comparing, you are putting things in their head which never existed.
Never
If you raise
existed.
a confident
Mm.
child who believes, if the parent keeps saying a child, you know what, you can do it. I know you're doing great. You will do great. We are creating belief patterns. So it is on to us. And we do this regularly with parents who use negative comments on children. We tell them now start
Right.
using positive. So even however bad you're tempted, please use a
Mm.
positive. So if your child is naughty, you never say you are naughty. Hey, you know what? I know you're a very good child. You are going through something and we need to sort it
Mm.
out. Right?
Right.
So that changes the
Mm.
perspective. Instead of tagging the child that you are naughty, you are unfocused, you are this, you are that, we tag them. We give them
Right.
qualities which are temporary. They are temporary,
Mm.
but the tags are permanent. So
Yes.
the moment
True.
we stop comparing, stop giving tags, the child is going to grow up to be an amazingly confident person who will achieve. And most of the things
Yes.
in life we achieve because of the confidence we hold or the belief that we hold in ourselves. So
Mm.
create love. Tell them, teach them to love themselves more than anything else in the world and believe in themselves. And always say, I'm there to support you. I believe in you as much as you believe in yourself. I think the
Yes.
issue is
So
solved
true.
there.
Yes. I always say this, to everyone that parents actually, when parents become parents, the child does not come with that manual, right? How
Yeah.
to raise them up. So the parents really need to be treated with, a training before they can become parents. No one should be let to become a parent before they undergo this training of how to be a good parent. Because whatever their unfulfilled dreams, their unfulfilled wishes, their unfulfilled dreams, they actually try fulfilling all of that through the child. If this is so much of, yeah, I mean, it has to begin from the roots. I truly believe that.
But we need to understand that neither the parents came with the manual when they were born. So they have learned what their parents did and they are applying the same to their
Same
children
thing.
until
Yes,
and unless they encounter a hurdle or a
yes,
challenge, they are not going to understand. Or there are people
yes,
who are watching this show right now who will now understand that how the psychology of child is created. So people who
yes,
don't know, let me just reiterate, till the age of 8 years, whatever you're feeding into the child's mind, any tagging, any data, anything like eating this is bad for your health to eating this is good, या ये चलता है, or obesity runs in our genes, or even talking about diseases, our family has a history of high bp. Please don't do that. You are creating belief
yes.
patterns which do not
Belief
need to
patterns.
exist. Today the
Yes, yes.
diseases are made on belief patterns. Your whole life is made, even how much money we earned is made on belief patterns.
Belief
And it's
pattern.
very,
Yes, yes.
yeah, we don't know how. It's like when you dig deeper you will so realize, oh god. We just had this one child, his parent came and he's like, when he was 7 years old he was so nice, he used to talk so fluently on stage and he will win all the prizes and everything. I said, acha, what about outside the house? He said outside the house also, there so he talks so much that we had to tell him, beta, don't talk so much, you can't tell the house secrets outside. What did the
Hmm.
parent do? Unknowingly they made the child so conscious that when you talk you need to think and talk. So they assume that it will affect only that part, but no, it doesn't work this way. It affected the whole part, and the child now has stage fear. He cannot talk on stage. Small things, we don't understand, but we need to dig deeper. When you are talking, we need to know what we are,
Hmm.
putting into the child's head.
Right. So true. Great. So another thing is, I mean, so then how you are already grown up now. We are talking about a child, but the child is already an adult now, and he's facing so many issues with the self-image, with self-esteem, the way they look at themselves, the self-confidence. So now, what do they do at this stage? Now they are already adults. How can they reverse it all and gain their self image back? What are the things that can be done?
So we have to understand that as children also, things were not fed in a day. We are observing the environment. There was a repeated input, repeated data that went, as I said, for me also, like, rejection from boys, not being asked for so many things, all that. So it was a repeated hit. Okay. Things
Right.
don't happen in a day. Or it
Hmm.
happens when you are extremely emotional. If the child is made to cry because of something they did, yes, then it just directly goes into their head. So the same thing as adults, if we repeat the same data over and over again, there are
Hmm.
affirmations that we can do. We can do tapping. There are various other modalities
Mm-hmm.
which you can
Mm-hmm.
do by yourself to keep
Okay.
giving constant input to your brain, to
Mm-hmm.
change the way your brain is programmed. So there are these programs, they're literally like a computer program written in our subconscious, that when something happens, this is how you react. When something happens, this is how you react. It's a manual that we have created as children. Okay.
Right.
But then when you are hit by corona, where there was no manual, then you all go crazy. So it is like
Yes.
that. There was no manual for it. You don't know how to handle it. Right?
Don't know how to
Now
handle.
today we
Yes.
have the manual. Last year we were
Hmm.
much more scared, but today we are not. So
Hmm.
anything that's new to the mind, it's going to be difficult. So
Hmm.
wherever you feel there is a conflict, like if you consciously want something, say consciously you want to lose weight, or consciously you want to be a more efficient speaker. Because when we joined corporates, we joined work, there are a lot of demands more than what we have done in our school or anywhere. So when we get to that point where consciously you want to do something, but you are not able to come out of that shell, is when you need to understand, okay, I need help here, I need to break this chain. I need to come out of my own shortcomings here. And when you do
Mhm.
that, as I said, people can do it by themselves, by affirmation. But that is if there's a confident person and believes in themselves, they can use affirmation, they can use tapping. There are various other resources which can help them come out. But if the person is really weak on the inside, does not have the strong belief in themselves, then I would suggest we should go for subconscious level therapy. There are various modalities. I practice hypnotherapy because it really hits the subconscious directly. And as therapists, we have been trained to help you achieve. So it's like as simple as going to the subconscious and just writing a new program. It's no big
Right,
deal. I mean,
right.
hypnotherapy is like a meditation at a very higher level where I'm just going and
Mhm.
changing the data. And since we are here, please, I do not hypnotize you to become cats and dogs. It's more clinical.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
For
I
people
do get
who
that
do not
from.
know, yes, yes, yes,
Yes,
true.
absolutely. It's
There is a
clinical.
negativity also attached to it, yes,
Yeah, so it's clinical hypnotherapy where I am working on your mind with your permission. And
with your
absolutely, when you
permission.
are hypnotized, you are very, very, very much in control. In fact, more than ever, because I'm
Yes,
taking you to your subconscious mind where you have absolute control. You can't control your conscious mind at times. You cannot control your urges. You cannot, if there are addiction, in addiction people can't control because that is coming from conscious mind, but subconscious mind you are very, very much in control. So we need to learn and understand whether we need conscious training, we need subconscious training. And there are so many therapists out there. I do hypnotherapy, I do affirmations, do a lot of other therapies to help you come out. Point is we need to understand that there is a problem. So
there is a
identify
problem.
your problem.
Yes,
And second step is learn to accept why the problem was created. We live in
yes,
denial. We live in a world of denial. People don't want to
yeah,
agree that there was an issue or there was something that their parents said because of which they are here. They don't,
yes.
because we are taught, don't talk bad about the family. But no, we're not talking about the family. We are just
Right,
talking that this happened, this triggered this. We are not talking bad about anyone. Everyone
right.
was right at their place. Parents do the best they can as per the
For the
best knowledge
child.
they have.
Yes,
And
yes,
gratitude to every parent there because they don't come with a manual either.
yes. True. Great. So I think there's a lot of stress also. I mean, stress factor is also on a very, very high because the kind of diseases now everyone is getting as soon as even at 20 years, I think, 20-year-olds are getting cancers and heart problems and everything. So what is the biggest, because of, I think there's a imbalanced lifestyle plus the competition, the pressure of being better than the others, that jealousy, all these things. How can we actually get out of that stress and combat that and be ourselves?
It's the same thing. What is the reason for stress today? Because there's a conflict in your mind. Today we travel hours to go to job, we come back, then we are working at home, versus what we learned as children. Our parents were not as busy as we are. We have seen a life where the parents would sit with us, have dinner, have time with us, play cricket or play sports with us. They had time to take us down also. I remember my dad coming home at sharp 7 o'clock. I knew the doorbell would ring and then he's all mine. Okay, but today there is no line to define anything. So as a child, my mind says that I should spend time with my children. Okay, our mind is processed because that's what we have seen. Versus now the conscious mind says to grow in the industry you need to work harder. The traffic has increased, so you need to travel more. So now my mind is in a conflict. It wants to do something, but it has to, the need and the want, conflict of need and the want. And whenever there is a conflict, our brain feels overloaded, and that is when we start going into stress. Okay,
Mm,
that's why what we call emotional eating again is a conflict, conscious versus
right,
subconscious. Subconscious wants to feel happy eating food, the conscious says no, 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 you need to lose weight because there's a body image
yes,
issue. Again a
right.
conflict, you will go into
Again,
stress, right? So whenever you are doing something which you are not willingly wanting to do, you are going to go into stress. So for that, again, resolve this issue. You really need to. get to the stage and really resolve that issue.
Does meditation help in stress management?
Meditation, yes, definitely helps. Even normal breathing will help in
Hmm.
stress management.
Okay. When we breathe consciously with awareness.
Right, right, right.
Hmm.
So
Now, what
absolutely.
according,
Go ahead, go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, what according to you is also the, I mean, I think it's all related, but is the advanced stage of stress called depression? What is that clinical depression? What is the root cause of it? Is stress one of the factors?
Stress is definitely one of the factors, and
Just bear with us, guys. There's some issue. She'll be back with us. Yeah,
I sorry, I had a power surge. So sorry for that.
no, no issues. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so what were we talking about? Meditation and breathing and stress,
Depression. Yeah,
depression.
depression basically. Yeah.
So depression is again the need versus want. You know what we
Mm-hmm.
want versus what we need. And when
Hmm.
that is not being met constantly is when
Hmm.
we get into the stress mode. Excessive stress where we cannot control and then people around us are not understanding us leads to more of a depression. Also a lot of fears, a lot of fears that are subtly fill into our head, you know eventually they are going to turn into anxiety and depression. Our brain can take data up to certain limit. The moment we overload it is going to go into depression. It cannot. It's like a glass is full of water. If we try to get more water in there, it has to overflow. So in my language I call that depression is nothing but an indigestion of the mind. Okay, it's literally the indigestion of the mind, where the mind is not able to digest what you're giving. We are habitual to a certain appetite, we are habitual to a certain limit of food that you can take. Same way mind also has a limit, and when we start crossing that limit and especially putting junk food, how we have the junk food for the body, our negative thoughts, our fears, our the energies that we are picking up are all the negative elements for the mind. So they are actually the junk food for our mind. The more you feed in, more indigestion will happen.
Right.
So for me, depression is simple words is indigestion of the mind. Like you need medicine or light food or therapy for coming out of the indigestion. Your mind needs breathing exercises, meditation, affirmations, a lot of these things. These are medicines for the mind.
Right. Absolutely. I think this should be a part of everyone's lifestyle, no matter
It should be
what.
a part of school education. If at school
It is.
education level, if child is taught how to train the mind, trust me, we will have an amazing community where people are not depressed, people do not have diseases, people are not troubling other people also for that matter.
Right. Right. But I think the pharmaceutical industry and so many other factors, they will never let it happen. Right? Otherwise they go out of business
They
if
go
we
out
are
of
empowering
business.
our children. Yeah. We can't empower our children because they do not want us to. There is
Right,
so
right,
much of politics in everything. So
right.
now, after the second wave of COVID, I think there's a lot of grief all around. There's suffering all around. There's grief. What do you suggest in the current scenario? How can this grief be combated, and how can people get out of it?
Person suffering from grief is good because grief is something that was created because they lost someone they love. Okay, that is something that we need to grieve. If you don't grieve, it is going to eventually impact other areas of life. So grieving is good. Mourning is the, crying and all is the external, which will go away eventually. Okay, but we need to understand that at the stage of grieving, our mind smartly plays a lot of tricks. Okay, so even though you want to remember someone with love, it will start creating tricks and start showing you all the negative aspects. You start remembering the hospital times, you start remembering the bad times. So that really happens. So we need to understand how to shut the mind. To really come out of the grief, you need to first accept. Half of the time we are in denial. We don't believe something like that can happen to us. When it happens, we are stuck with something that we didn't want to accept. Now comes the anger. Now comes the anger where we start saying, oh, it was a doctor's fault. Usne galat medicine diya hoga. This happened, that happened. We didn't go right. The lab went wrong. This happened. We blame the government also, right?
Yes, we
That,
do.
oh, government was not good. We do this, we do that. So we blame so many people. Then we start bargaining. What if मैं ये छोड़ दूं तो if I leave this, will my loved one come back? If I do this, this will come back. Then comes a depression where nothing of your bargaining, nothing of your anger really worked, nothing happened. And then we come to acceptance. So all of us are going to go through these stages in order, back or forward or either ways. And this is general grieving. Even if you lose a job, we will do that. Even if you lose a pet, we will do that. It's a grieving process. And it changes. The time of grieving will change from person to person. There is no set and fixed agenda. There is no one who can understand grief. So if someone is working with someone who is grieving, all they need is a listening ear. Sit and listen. Don't give too much advice because it's not going to work. It's going to create more problems. So don't give too much advice. Right now, they need a listener.
Listening
Now,
here. Yes.
yes. And once they accept, what happens is the grief still remains. The part of it, see, you will not get normal. We have to accept that once something is gone, it's never coming back. It's not going to be normal. For a person who's of a past life regression background, I know that once someone is gone, they are going to come back because we believe in souls. They are souls. And when we do past life regression, we decode so many relationships. When we are amazed and people feel so much better. Okay, it is like a soul has just gone to another room in the house. And when you will go to that room, you are going to meet them in this life or next life. We are all soul partners. We come in soul groups. So I understand that. But for a layman person, I think it's the best that you let them grieve, let them come out of it slowly, steadily, taking care of them and start living the life. So you don't sit and discuss about what went wrong. Ask them, hey, how was that person? What do you have to say about that person? Tell me something good about that person. We need them to start talking positive.
Talking
and we
positive,
have to
yes.
encourage the positiveness. So if they say, okay, my spouse like this or my friend like this, hey, you know what? If they like that ice cream, let's go and have ice cream. We will remember them. I'm sure they'll be happy to see us happy. So the attitude we go with is very, very important. What happens is most people come to send condolences also in such a way that makes us more depressed. Person who is grieving, they need support. They don't need you to tell them, hey, ye hota hai, life aisa hai, destiny hai, ye hai.
I know.
Oh my
No
God, they will
gyan.
tell you like
No gyan.
1,000 things, and I'm like, oh God, please get me something better. I cannot work with this, right?
Yeah.
So we need to understand, be sensitive, and be there to listen. And if you can make them understand the soul part, heal, if you can help them channel, if you know someone, I don't do channeling, but I do soul talking. There are people who channel with souls. There are so many ways to connect to the soul. And once you connect to the soul, there is a certain sense of relief. Because, our grief, Anshu, is so funny that most of the time our grief, and someone beautifully even said that grief is nothing but our own guilt. The soul that is gone is not grieving. It has gone beyond and it is at a place which is much happier, less painful. But we are the ones that are grieving because we had the guilt, either because we did not tell them enough how much we love them, Either we didn't do enough to save them. That's our mind playing the
Right.
reel. Okay, it's our mind. It's
Right.
not true. We all, nobody in the world, even the poorest of the person, will do their to the best of their abilities to save the person that they love. So
Yes.
it is our guilt that is playing behind in our head, which is not letting go of that grief. So we need to understand that once you talk to the soul, once you express, you will be much calmer. But even if you don't do, there is no point blaming yourself,
Hmm.
because what is over. The soul will come back and the soul is happy. If you're grieving for the soul, please stop it, because the
Please
soul
stop.
is much happier at the place that it is right now.
So, would you tell us a little more about past life regression for the people who do not understand it? What exactly is past life regression? Are you actually able to look, 10 lives back and see what they were in those lives? I mean, what exactly it is all about?
So, past life regression, as he says, is past life, going into the past lives. I think that show Kissa Pichle Janam Ka made it very, very popular. But
Okay.
that is not how it really happens, the way they showed it on the show. That was just constructed to get your attention. But yes, you go in past life, and before going in the past life, it's essential to know what is the purpose of us going. Because we have had thousands of lives. I don't know
I
how
know.
many,
I know.
right?
Yeah.
So we need
Yeah.
to know which life do we really want to go into. And once you know which life, there are techniques in which we take you to past life. And I use hypnotherapy as a mode to take you into past life.
Mm-hmm.
Once you're in the past life, it is different for every person. The experience is very different. So some
Mm.
people see very clear images. Okay, it's like, oh, there's a movie going on, then they're watching and it's very clear. For some people, it's more like audible. It's all depends on which
Mm-hmm.
sense is stronger. Some people,
Right.
it's more like audible. They can hear sounds, but they see black faces.
Mm-hmm.
They don't see pictures. For
Mm.
some people it is very real, like they can feel every inch of it, they can literally feel in their body. So in that life,
Mm-hmm.
if they got a burn, they will feel that burn literally in this physical world. That
Oh.
sensitive people. And then there are
Hmm.
some people who just have a feeling, their mind automatically starts telling them this story. So for it
Hmm.
differs from person to person, and that's why whenever we do fast life regression, we do tell them, it can be different. So don't expect like wo kissa pichle janam ka, where you'll be seeing story, totally audible movie going on. No, 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 it doesn't have to be that way. And we go
Hmm.
from phases. We go like, you might start the life anywhere. Okay, you can fall into the life. It's like literally dropping you into that life. So it can be at any phase. Either you're too old or you're too young. It could be anywhere. And then we start working on decoding. So before that, we do a lot of consultation. We try to find out where is the issue. We draw certain level of understanding what could be the issue. So generally, and you have to have a relation, right? So if a mother daughter have a problem, then we need to understand, okay, then these are the two characters that we need to look at in the past life, right? So if someone is
Hmm.
trying to search as a soul for the lost loved one, then we know that it is you and the other character. So we go through
Right.
the whole storyline, we go through that whole life, trying to search for that person, and then we
Right.
press a pause when we reach that. We see the
Okay.
sequence, what happened there. If that doesn't
Hmm.
seem relevant, it's like you forward. We literally give those commands. Let's forward about 5 years from now. Let's forward
Wow.
about 10 minutes from now. And we keep
Wow.
seeing where it. So it's a very deep, and it requires a lot of attention from the therapist also, till we find what we are trying to look for. We need to know
Right.
a reason, what is the reason for that pattern or that problem. So we keep forwarding backward and all. And then once we find it, we have to go to the last stage where we see the death and how we died. And we have to release. We have to forgive and forget. So, how we heal the
Okay.
past life is we need to forgive and forget that person for that instance in that life. We don't forgive and forget. And that's why our karmas keep building.
Right.
So,
Right.
past life is definitely one thing, but if you have an issue, but in current life, to not suffer in the next life, it's good time to start forgiving people
Forgiving
and
people. Yes.
it's
So
forgiving,
important.
and more importantly, asking for forgiveness. We have
Yes.
such a big ego that every time we want to point fingers at others without realizing the four fingers are pointing at us, you know.
Hmm.
So if we feel the other person got angry or did something wrong, we never want to believe that it might be triggered by our action.
Hmm.
So we always, when we do therapy, let going or forgiving, it's always ask for forgiveness and forgive. Never just do forgiveness, because
Yes.
you are forgiving the other person didn't, so you still have the karma remaining,
Right. Right.
right?
So true. So true. Very important. Actually, you said very correctly that we have that ego where we feel that we should just forgive and there's nothing on our end. But we do not know knowingly, unknowingly how much we might have hurt the other person, and we also require to get forgiveness from them. Otherwise, yeah, it goes on. It goes on. The cycle continues. So true. Brilliant. Absolutely. I mean, I'm having so much of fun, having this conversation with you. This is so crucial to our lives. Actually, people are not
Abs-
aware and they keep suffering.
Right.
That's the whole point. Now, Yogini, we will get on to the next round, which is a more light-hearted round. As I say, it's called the lightning bolt round.
I'm excited. I love those rounds.
So yeah, let's move on to that.
Okay.
Okay. So, given an option to be born again, would you be born as a man or as a woman?
I always thought I will be born as a man, but because I love the fact that they can do anything as a child, okay? But as a woman, I realize that we have much more power over men, and men are slaves to women. So I think I would go for a woman. I think we can make them do anything if we believe in ourselves. So let's be women.
Wow, awesome. What are you afraid of?
I am afraid. I have the fear of having fears. I think that's my biggest fear. I have the fear
Yeah.
of having fears that I
Okay.
don't want to have any fears. So I have that fear. Oh my god, what if I get a fear?
Ah, okay. That's something new. If you could be anyone else in this world, who would you want to be right now?
Oh, I think I'd rather be me. I've learned enough here. I don't want to go through the journey again.
Okay,
I will
that's
be
not an
myself.
option. That's not an option. You have to be someone else, then who do you choose?
Oh, you want someone living? Yeah, I would love to be some kind of a superstar, for a day, try to live that glamorous life, lots of
Glamorous
clothes
life.
to choose from, and, be slim and fit into everything, wear those high heels and walk and just do a photo. I think for one day, I would love to try that out.
Yeah, and have those nice shoots and everything.
Absolutely. Everything given to you for free. You don't have to buy it.
Right. True, true. Your favorite junk food?
My favorite junk food is always pani puri. I'm a huge
Pani
fan.
puri. Okay.
Yeah.
Truly, truly Indian wala junk food,
And
which
samosa.
every
Samosa and pani puri can work anytime.
my daughter is listening and she already must be having, lots of saliva in her mouth. You have some free time in your hands and you are given an option to either choose a book or listen to some music or a movie. Which one would you choose?
I think music or a web series. Movies end too fast. Movies end in 2.5 hours max. I think I would like to
Mhm.
watch a web series back to back, like for like 7, 8, 9, 10 hours. That would be perfect.
Wow.
With lots of junk food, with lots of popcorn and ice creams.
Popcorns and some samosas and pani puris and ice creams.
Absolutely.
We'll do that.
Definitely. Let's try it once.
Yeah. Okay. One thing that you tell yourself every single day.
Hey, live life. So every time I wake up in the morning and I like, oh, I didn't do my workout today. Chuck it. This day is not going to come back in life. So live what you have to live for the day. Don't just get stuck in the thought, I didn't do this. Just move on and live what you have.
Yeah, live life. So true. And we need to live. That's the biggest thing. We have come here to live, not to survive and, just exist. So,
Don't
yeah.
exist, don't exist, just live life, things will fall in place by itself.
Yes, yes. We put too much of stress on everything as if, we are the God, we are the creators of everything. We need to leave
Absolutely.
certain things in His hands. So true. What's your biggest turn off in anyone if you meet a
Lies.
person? Lies. Okay.
I like
Okay.
authenticity. I mean, tell me, as I said, no, I don't like backstabbing. I like people talk straight on my face. I will give you answer, but talk straight on
Yeah.
my face.
Yeah. Your topmost priority in life.
My kids. I have three. I don't think I mentioned that. So that's also my credential. I'm a mom of three beautiful kids.
Wow, beautiful. So, how old is the eldest one and how young is the youngest one?
10, 7, and 5.
Oh, you have your plate full.
Absolutely. I totally love them.
Brilliant and beautiful, having three kids. What would your ideal date be with your husband? If you have to go out on a date today with your husband, how would
Oh
it be?
God. I think it should be on a rooftop somewhere with lots of twinkling lights, a candlelight dinner, some nice romantic music. As of now, I'm stuck on Kabir Singh. I've not got something better than Kabir Singh, so I think it should be Kabir Singh for sure. And yeah, I've stopped drinking, so no drinks for sure. I love paneer
Hmm.
tikka on my date, so I think that would be a good idea.
Paneer tikka. Okay. That
It's
actually
healthy.
brings me.
It's healthy because it has paneer and it's protein, so I think it goes in the healthy platters. That's why.
That's okay. I mean, we don't need to be so guilty, right? We
Yeah,
can
I
once
don't
in a
like. Yeah,
while
yeah,
indulge. Yeah, yeah, we can indulge
absolutely. I
also.
love paneer tikka.
In fact, my last question to you was something similar to this. That what is your child? Maybe I'll not say the younger children's, but at least your 10-year-old child. What is the most favorite plant-based dish that they prefer eating that you make?
So my boys like my cookies, my daughter likes my brownies, and they all like the ice creams.
Okay, and which you make totally plant-based, never using
Absolutely.
a
They are
dairy,
sugar free. They're completely sugar free, gluten free, vegan,
dairy-free,
dairy
vegan.
free. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, and they love that.
They love that. And they are, it's funny that how we train them. So now if they have to eat ice cream outside, they're like, Mama, is this junk or is this healthy? I said, Beta, that's junk. So can we eat this? I said, yeah, you can eat little. You can have definitely. There's no. But when they eat my ice cream, they're like, wow, Mama, this though we can eat as much as we want, right? It's healthy, right?
True.
So the
No
kids
guilt,
also
no guilt.
understand that when junk has to be eaten in certain quantities, well, it's healthy and
Yes.
you can make it. And they love coming in the kitchen and helping me. So most of the time they are in the kitchen when we are making these stuff, and they keep innovating also. So
Hmm.
yes, that works. How we train them, that's how they behave.
Yes, I agree. Because the same with my daughter. So can't be truer than this.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
We're done. Oh my god.
Don't feel like ending it, but yeah.
Absolutely not.
So you never know. Maybe after the 100th episode again, you'll be back with me and we'll be talking more about some more evolved things.
Absolutely. All the best wishes, and I hope you achieve your 100 very soon. And you're doing a great job out there, because stories is what heals, and stories is what is life is all about. Life is a story, and stories is
Yes,
what makes life. So, everyone out
yes,
there, please take every hurdle of your life as a story to tell for the future. So, either you tell your victory story or your defeat story. So, decide
yes,
what you want to tell to your
yes.
generations to come.
True, true. Beautiful message. Thank you so much, Yogini. I mean, this is a brilliant message that you could have given. Create your own story of either a victim or a victor. So nothing can be, more bang. Thank
Absolutely. It
you so
was
much.
great being on the show with you, Anshu, and thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah. Bye-bye.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
Bye. Hey guys, I hope you had as much fun as I had. Seriously, I did not feel like ending the show, but then, yeah, the show had to end at this point, and I'll meet you again next week with another very, very interesting and amazing personality. Please put down comments and let me know how are you feeling this journey has been so far, the 13 episode journey. What has been the learning like for you? Is it helping you in any areas of your life, in breaking your limiting beliefs and breaking your myths? I would be more than glad to receive these comments from you. Have a great week ahead. Good night. Take care. God bless you.